Live from the Heartland Mamas studio, this is the Heartland Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Henry. The Heartland Mamas podcast can be found on all podcast platforms, TikTok, YouTube, proudly part of the Demcast USA network. As of today, we have 329 days left to save the USA. 329 days left to keep our democratic principles and not become a frickin' fascist state. We see fascism blossoming all around us in states like Texas that are taking this poor woman, Kate Cox, who struggled to have a third child. And that child cannot survive, so she must have an abortion. And the state of Texas is refusing to give her medical care. For some reason, they've decided not only to legislate morals, but to give themselves all an MD behind their names, as if they have a frickin' clue what to do with a woman whose baby is about to die inside of her and prevent her from having any more children. I'm a person who went through that. I feel for Kate Cox. I understand what she's going through. But here in Illinois, 20, almost 30 years ago when this was happening to me, all I had to do when I was miscarrying is call my doctor, who met me at the emergency room in Ottawa, Illinois, and performed an abortion, which we also call a D&C, kept me overnight, and let me go home so I could try to have another baby down the road. Nobody questioned why I was at the hospital. Nobody questioned the grief that I felt, that my husband felt, that our son felt when we weren't able to have another child. My kids are 8 years apart, not because it was easy for me, but because it was hard. Because every time I got pregnant, I didn't know how it was going to end. When I was pregnant with our second child, our last child, we only have the two, I didn't even tell anybody until I was over 6 months pregnant, because I was sure I was going to miscarry that child at any moment. And then people say stupid shit to you like, oh, it's for the best. You know, the words that come out of people's mouths could have come out of Ken Paxton's mouth or Greg Abbott's mouth. Damn it, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't have any idea the pain and agony this family, this woman is going through because of this. And yet they're going to uphold their stupid, barbaric laws because her life is not as important as an unborn fetus. And I'm telling you, once that fetus came out and was defective and was going to have to receive painful palliative care until it died of natural causes, they wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. Nothing at all. And God forbid it would be born to a poor person, because some way in their mind it would be that poor person's just desserts to have a child like that. And a poor person couldn't fight them like Kate Cox can in court. Poor people, working people, don't have a choice. This poor woman had to leave her home state of Texas and go to another state for care. What is wrong with you people? Why won't you fight to preserve the freedoms for everybody in 329 days? Why aren't you rallying behind this woman? Because if it can happen to her, it can happen to anyone. Any person. Any person who can have a child can have to suffer the way she's suffering right now. And while Texas can't pull its collective head out of its ass, they don't care what happens to the over 400,000 children in this country that are in foster care, 20% of whom will age out of foster care this year without ever having a home of their own without ever being adopted. But sure, let's make a woman with a fetus that's about to die have that baby, no matter what. What is wrong with you people? We knew when Roe fell that this shit was going to happen. And now here we are. It's happening, people. It's happening all around us. Not here in Illinois. Not now. But God forbid we should lose this election in 329 days, because it's going to come here too. It's going to be the Handmaid's Tale everywhere. We'll be under his eye. Is that what you want? Because if you don't get off your lazy butt and start working for candidates and get people elected up and down the ballot, turn it over and get those judges elected, this is what's going to happen. Women are entitled to have health care without regulation. We are entitled to have control over our own bodies. We are entitled to make the choice whether we become a parent or not. And when God isn't willing to give us a baby, God damn it, you let us have health care. It is not your choice. It is her choice. It was my choice back in the day. I don't want to sacrifice that for any other woman. I don't want any other woman to have to go through the pain and agony Kate Cox is going through. I know what I went through, and there was no barriers in my way. The hurt, the pain, the emotional pain, the not knowing if you're ever going to have another child. It's unbelievable that in this country, with one of the highest mortality, infant and women mortality rates in the world, that we would allow this to happen. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? This is not a moral issue. This is a control issue. And you're just mad that you've lost control. Well, you know what? At least she was able to travel outside the state, but God, there's a bounty on her head for when she comes back home to see her other two children. Well, Kate Cox, Illinois welcomes you. You're welcome to come and live with us, with sensible people. We want you here. But to not be able to go home because there's a bounty on your head? What the heck is she, a coyote? Unbelievable. I'm just outraged. I am outraged that we are dealing with this. And look, Democrats, we had the opportunity to codify Roe many times before it was finally overturned. And we chose not to, because women are vote getters and donation getters. We were huge before Roe fell, and we're even bigger now. But mark my words, we are not going to sit here and take it anymore. We are not going to sit here and take it anymore. And we damn well have a codification of health care for women, unfettered access to health care, as a nationwide mandate as soon as this election is over next November 5th. We cannot sit on our hands any longer and allow pasty old white men with control issues to make decisions for us. And so from the edge of the Great Red Divide, and thank God I live in Illinois, thank God I raised my children here. This is Heidi Henry, and this has been the Heartland Mamas podcast. And so help me God, you better get out there and start working for candidates. You better start making calls, mailing postcards, sending texts, knocking doors. Do something now. The time is now.